going to talk about the IlioPsoas and how it is direct. There's a direct correlation to yoga and how important this muscle is for the practice of yoga and our low back health in general. So I'm going to give some landmarks, and I'm going to go through it from an anatomical standpoint, and then I'm going to connect it to how it relates to our yoga practice, our physical asana practice. So let's get some landmarks going first, because that's very important. Right here, this muscle is the femur. This is your thigh bone. It's the biggest, thickest muscle in the bone in the body. Then there's a bony prominence that comes off here. It's called the greater trochanter. Now, there's the lesser trochanter, which is on the inside. This is the inside of the thigh, right? This would be coming into here, right? This lesser trochanter. This is your hip bone, the ilium, and these are L4 and L5, sacrum, coccyx. Okay, so we're looking at somebody who's facing forward right now. This would be from the back, and here's our sacrum, and this is from the front. So this muscle, IlioPsoas, is made up of really two muscles. The iliacus, which is this muscle here, which kind of fuses into the ilium, the hip bone here. And then the psoas, which this muscle here, which comes down and then anchors in to the lesser trochanter, the inside of your thigh, really. Or it anchors into the bone, but that's where it is, on the inside of the thigh. Now, what it's not showing, you can see that it's cut away here. Because it's cut away, so you could see the iliacus. Now, where this would go is it would corkscrew up to T12. So you have 5 lumbar vertebrae, L5, L4, L3, L2, L1, T12. And this muscle would go to T12 and then anchor in to the anterior part of this. So the front of this transverse process, okay? So this muscle would come up to T12 and anchor in to there at the front. Now, this is a pretty important muscle because it's connecting our leg to our torso, T12. But as you can see, it goes through the low back as well. So a lot of people have low back pain that is due to this muscle spasming. So we want to figure out a way how to stretch it. Probably the best way to stretch, I'm going to go into a pose now, is Asana, which is a low lunge. So when I come here, now my knee is on the floor. My hands are on the floor. Now I can feel this, and I can feel that this muscle, which is coming down into the lesser trochanter, I'm stretching this just by my leg being back. If I'm like this in a box lunge, I don't feel that stretch. So here, I need this back. Now, when I raise my arms and I go here, I still don't feel, oh, there it is. Because of that T12 connection, now when I go back, I feel that opening. That whole muscle is getting stretched. So, Asana, anytime I lift my arms up, it's going to accentuate the stretch rather than my hands just being here. This is why in a yoga sequence, it might be a good idea to start the first round with the hands on the thighs. And the second round, the arms lift. This makes your sequencing much more dynamic when you are able to implement some of the knowledge of anatomy. So, let's review real quick of our IlioPsoas. So, we have the femur. So the IlioPsoas comes down and it anchors into our thigh bone, the inside over here. It's going to traverse up and anchor in to the anterior aspect of the transverse process of thoracic vertebra 12. Okay, so that's like the very beginning of our low back. it has this connection with the iliacus, with our hip as well. So this whole, to stretch this muscle is so good for the low back health. Because if you sit a lot, if you are hunched over a lot, if you have poor posture, your IlioPsoas takes a beating. So this Anjaneyasana is one of the best poses in yoga to relieve that. Hope that helps.